Are you hoping to dress up today? Hey,
Lower your voice and don't yell at me. I told you before. I'll listen to what you say. Speak in a normal tone of voice.
We saw the prosecutors make a big deal about the fact that Rihanna was in court
with her kids.
With the kids, complaining to the jury about the fact that Rihanna was there with the kids.
Bottom line is,
Rihanna recently made headlines when she brought her 2 young children, Arza and Riot, to court during ASAP Rocky's trial, right before the jury made their decision. The move left many fans surprised, with some even finding it cute, but the prosecutors didn't see it that way. They accused Rihanna of using her children as a sympathy card, leading to a heated argument in the courtroom. This bold move has sparked debate, raising questions about what Rihanna might be willing to do to support her man. Was she simply there to show support, or was this a calculated attempt to sway the jury's emotions? And did it actually influence the outcome of the trial? Let's dive deeper into this controversial moment to find out more. Rihanna and ASAP Rocky were spotted leaving the courtroom with their 2 children during a break, and as the break ended, the family gathered together. According to some paparazzi, Rihanna was overheard telling the kids to wish their dad good luck before they headed back inside. This heartfelt moment touched many fans, with one person commenting, "I'm rocking with Rihanna. People are so quick to walk out on someone during hard times. We've seen them together during the good times, so why be mad that she's there through the bad? Heaven forbid y'all need someone to stand by you." While Rihanna might have had her reasons for bringing the kids to the trial, many believed it was a strategic move to appeal to the jury's emotions. Another fan voiced their opinion, saying, "I have no issue with her supporting her man, but honestly, there was no reason to bring those babies to court. I really detest when people, especially rich and famous ones, play the sympathy card. We all know he's not going to face any real jail time." The prosecution seemed to share this sentiment, as they weren't pleased with the gesture either. District Attorney John Lean addressed the jury, urging them not to be influenced by the presence of ASAP Rocky's children in the courtroom. He reminded the jury, "This is not something you're allowed to consider. We are all responsible for what we do." Lean emphasized that Rocky should be treated like any other person, regardless of his fame, his partner's celebrity status, or how adorable his kids might seem, even if they giggled during the closing arguments. He insisted that Rocky deserved to be judged fairly, just like anyone else, without any special treatment due to his public image. However, Rocky's attorney, Joe Takapa, found the district attorney's comments to be completely unnecessary. He argued that Rihanna attended the trial simply because she's a part of Rocky's family, not to manipulate the jury's emotions.
At least from what we were told by people in the courtroom, that did resonate with the jury, and that was Rihanna being in court several days during the trial, sitting there right behind Rocky, and certainly during closing, was there with the kids as well. And we heard the prosecutors in their closing really implore the jury to ignore the fact that Rihanna was there. Basically it sounded like the prosecutor was saying, don't fall for this family picture that they're trying to paint here. Just deal with the facts of the case.
But it was a family picture, right?
it's a family. It's not a family picture that they're trying to paint. It's a family. She's been there almost every day. She is obviously loves him. They are a great couple. Obviously I've known Rock for a long time. I've known Reef for a long time. And seeing them together in a time like this, in a time of need, is something very special. To see them she's really there supporting him, like in full force. And, they're a family. So why would that be odd or unique? And to me, when he commented on that in his closing, it was just another sign of weakness to me. It was a sign that this is what they're worried about. Like, instead of the evidence, they're focused on, is Rihanna gonna sway the jury? I never mentioned Rihanna in this trial. Rihanna was not part of our defense. We have factual defenses, and they seem to be obsessed with Rihanna and her being there. So I don't think this jury's gonna be swayed by.
Takapa emphasized that the defense never intended to use her presence to influence the jury's perception.
And who knows? I don't think it hurts because.
Okay, hold on. You said who knows? I know. The answer is yes.
Okay.
I know.
I don't. Yeah, look, these are people. We don't know what jurors think. We have people from all different walks of life on that jury. So who knows what it means? If anything, I think at the end of the day,
That being said, Rihanna's presence in the courtroom with their children could have had a positive impact on the jury. Her appearance as a supportive partner and mother might have humanized Rocky in the eyes of the jurors, potentially influencing their perception of him in a more sympathetic light. Unfortunately for the prosecution, the judge was not impressed by the comments regarding Rihanna's presence. After a brief break, the judge addressed the district attorney's remarks, stating, "From here on out, there should be no mention of Rihanna being in the courtroom or the babies being in the courtroom." He also made it clear to ASAP Rocky, saying, "You're not going to get any special treatment. Your status as an entertainer or as Rihanna's significant other won't benefit you, nor will it harm you." This meant that Rihanna's decision to bring the kids to court didn't backfire on ASAP Rocky. However, his luck ran out when it was time for closing arguments. Rocky did not take the stand during the trial, but ASAP Relly did, the man suing him for allegedly shooting him. Relly's testimony didn't go as planned. Right from the opening statements, Rocky's lawyer Joe Takapa accused Relly of being dishonest. He argued that Relly had fabricated his version of events in an attempt to secure a payday, challenging his credibility as a witness.
Rocky's future is on the line as he stands trial accused of firing a gun at his former friend during a 2021 showdown. While prosecutors build their case on a key witness and surveillance clips, the defense is arguing there are questionable motives behind the accusations. We're going to break all this down right now with acclaimed attorney Bradford Cohen.
Meanwhile, whispers hint that some big names could be called to weigh in on Rocky's character. Within entertainment circles, it's not uncommon for high-profile figures to offer testimonies or statements supporting a friend in a tough legal jam.
The evidence in this case will be that the man in the black sweatshirt was the defendant, Rakeem Myers. That evidence will be uncontradicted.
this case is all about money. You're going to see the only reason we're in this courtroom is because Rocky would not agree to be a victim of another one of his crimes.
In the midst of it all, Rihanna has found herself in the eye of the storm, trying to process the possibility that Rocky might be facing a far more difficult road ahead than anticipated. Reports suggest that she's deeply upset. Some say she's livid about the unexpected turn of events and the secrecy shrouding the situation. That possibility raises the question, would Rihanna step into such a role if invited? While the notion of her testifying might sound far-fetched, fans aren't dismissing it out of hand. After all, she knows Rocky well, and her words could carry significant influence. On the other hand, stepping into the legal spotlight could invite even more scrutiny, something that Rihanna has skillfully avoided whenever possible. Lawyers might advise both Rocky and her to keep such appearances to a minimum.
I never enjoyed the music business.
I heard that.
The politics, man, it's like for me, man, everything that ever worked for me was unorthodox. They follow a certain formula, which is traditional, and, you know, not knocking it. I just don't think that formula applies to this.
Especially if the case is delicate and might be exploited by tabloids looking for sensational headlines. Stepping into the legal spotlight could come with significant risks. Apart from that, some insiders suggest that Rihanna may be privately supporting Rocky in practical ways, including providing resources or connecting him with strategic advisors. A star of her caliber has access to a wide network of professionals, from public relations experts to legal consultants. Having endured her fair share of controversies, Rihanna has learned how to emerge stronger. If she's channeling her frustration into something constructive, she could be helping Rocky make careful decisions about how to handle the situation.
But they're going to determine whether or not to say, yeah, this is good evidence or bad evidence. That's number one for the state. That really hurts them. Number two is,
this approach might not grab headlines the way a public rant would, but it could prove far more effective in the long run. One must also consider how this drama affects Rihanna's own mental space. Juggling her brand, fashion lines, philanthropic projects, potential music releases, and personal life is enough to keep her calendar packed. Adding a high-profile legal issue into the mix, especially when it involves someone she loves, can be an emotional strain. Hollywood is rife with stories of talented individuals who struggle to manage the constant churn of speculation and pressure. Yet, Rihanna has historically found creative outlets when facing stress. Whether she channels it into new designs, hidden Easter eggs in social media posts, or even future musical endeavors, she's not one to stay silent if she believes her voice can be a force for change.
whatever it is, and that helps you, right? And you might not be able to see all that. So number one is, I'm sure he has a jury consultant. Number two is, there's a lot of reports that say out of the 106 potential jurors, only 4 were African American. Now in LA County, in terms of the pool itself, in LA County, you have about a 10 or 11% of the population is African American. So it doesn't match the population of the county you're in. So that's kind of the argument, right? And you make that argument at the beginning of the case and you say, hey, listen, judge, we got to start all over again. We got to strike this whole panel. It doesn't represent the county. It doesn't represent the proper percentages. There's only 4 out of 106, and there should be 11 or 12 out of 106. That no one placed it there, that no one put fingerprints on it, that no one put DNA on it, that they didn't collect it from another area where they knew that individual might have DNA on it from, let's say, a gun range.
According to various accounts, Rocky's involvement in a trial has turned complicated, partly because someone within his own circle, some say a longtime associate of ASAP Mob, has shared information in court that does not bode well for the rapper. Official details remain sketchy, fueling a storm of online gossip and speculation. Fans who once admired ASAP Mob as a united, family-like crew are now grappling with the idea that there may be hidden tensions, misunderstandings, or pressures at play.
That's why you need to establish a chain of custody. That's number one. That's the worst part of it. Most judges will argue, oh, the chain of custody is important, but it goes to the weight of the evidence, meaning they're not going to eliminate that evidence just because they don't establish a chain of custody, which I happen to disagree with. But they say it goes to the weight. The jury can still look at the evidence. So those are arguments to be made, and those might be preserved for appeal. And Joe has been to trial many, many times. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's been to battle, a lot of times. He knows what the appellate issues are. He knows what to raise, and I guarantee you, he did raise that at some portion of the trial. Might have been sidebar or something like that, but that it wasn't typical. It did not represent the county, that pool. So that's going to be interesting. I think the makeup of 7 men, of 7 women, 5 men, I think is also interesting. And it goes to the fact of whether or not you think women are a better selection than men. There's a lot that goes into that. And the women, depending on what the women answered to some of those questions. Sometimes in gun cases, you don't want a heavy amount of women on your jury because...
Or if she needs to set the record straight. Still, the term loses it is strong, and some fans argue that media outlets are being dramatic. Perhaps Rihanna's response was passionate but measured, and now it's being amplified for clicks. The gap between a heated conversation behind closed doors and a full-blown meltdown is wide, yet the public only receives tidbits of information. A single phrase reported by an unnamed source.
Or something of that nature, and they collected and they dropped it on the scene.
Been working on it for a while, and every day it just gets closer and closer to the finished product.
You're always in the press and stuff like that. It gets at whatever's left of you, whatever's real.
Rihanna has long been recognized as a powerhouse in the music industry, an icon who transcends any single genre. Since debuting as a teenager, she has consistently reinvented her sound, dabbled in fashion, launched cutting-edge ventures, and built a global empire marked by creativity and fearlessness. Whether unveiling an album that pushes the boundaries of pop or orchestrating extravagant runway events for her latest designs, Rihanna embodies an unwavering sense of self. Fans and commentators alike have followed her evolution with fascination. The Barbadian singer, who once delivered sweet, Caribbean-tinged anthems, has grown into a visionary mogul whose opinions resonate far beyond music. Yet, despite her fierce persona and calm composure in the face of controversy, rumors are now swirling that she may be reaching a breaking point over an ongoing legal matter involving her partner, Ahab Hiraki. For those unaware, Rihanna and Ahab have been linked both professionally and personally. She was furious, can balloon into headlines about an epic confrontation. Such distortions are common in celebrity reporting, where nuance often gets lost for the sake of dramatic effect. Rihanna might simply be doing what anyone would in her position, expressing frustration at a messy situation, seeking reassurance about Rocky's well-being, and exploring possible solutions. Interestingly, this trial also reopens discussion about the intricacies of ASAP Mob's internal relationships.
You're afraid they may never shot a gun. They may have never saw a gun. Now, in this case, where they're saying it was a starter pistol, if there's no experts testifying, which I find hard to believe, but if there's no experts testifying and you got 7 women and 5 men, it could be that those 7 women never fired a weapon. I don't know. Those are questions you got to ask the jury. Maybe the 5 guys never fired a weapon. You're talking about Los Angeles, where the gun laws are much more strict than in the rest of the country. Right. So it could be that no one on that jury ever fired a weapon or ever handled a weapon or ever saw a weapon. What's interesting is I just got a text back from one of my friends at the FBI who is also a qualified firearms expert, because I'm wondering, is there a starter pistol that's semi-automatic? That's the one question in my mind, because I've never seen one. I just got a text from him that says there's not a starter pistol that's semi-automatic, but there is a blank firing look-alike gun that you could use that is semi-automatic. It won't give you 9mm shells, obviously, because it's not meant to fire real projectiles, nor could you ever fire real projectiles from it. But he says there is one that exists, and it is from China. So I stand corrected in regard to whether or not, like I said, the thing that threw me off was that it was a starter pistol. That was the thing that threw me off, because it's not really a starter pistol. It's more for it's like a fake prop gun. Then if the state is not putting forward an expert to say that is not a starter pistol, I am an expert in this area, maybe an FBI agent or something like that. And I can tell you just from looking at this video, they don't make semi-automatic, starter pistols. Right. Then, that obviously, then it's a battle of experts.
Yep. And let's talk about that battle. So the jury heard opening statements. And in the prosecution's opening statement, attorney Paul Przlomy argued that the video evidence is indisputable and it will establish Rocky's role in this altercation.
The second person who you see, who is instantly confrontational with Mr. Efron, is the defendant, Mr. Mayers. You see on the video that Mr. Mayers is immediately aggressive towards Mr. Efron. He's pulling at Mr. Efron's sweatshirt and he's pushing.
Rocky has long been the face of the collective, admired for his style and progressive take on hip-hop. Fans who romanticized the group as an unbreakable brotherhood are now grappling with the realization that internal friendships aren't always as unshakable as they appear. As speculation about testimony from within the group intensifies, people are scrutinizing past interactions, social media posts, and side projects to detect signs of tension. The core question, how could this happen to such a united crew, mirrors fans' broader fascination with seeing behind the curtain of celebrity circles, where public camaraderie can mask private disagreements. For Rihanna, who is fiercely private about many aspects of her life, the trial's escalation might feel like a betrayal of trust. Not just for Rocky, but for everyone who believed in the authenticity of these bonds.
Little installation, art installation at this motel, and it was Miguel's party. And we went there, and I kind of just went through rooms, landed on this karaoke room, and I saw Mary J. Blige on. Because it was, they had a small list, so I was just fingers crossed they got something in there that I love.
She's known for handpicking collaborators and maintaining tight-knit circles of friends who genuinely share her values. If an associate is indeed complicating Rocky's case for reasons unknown, do it due to personal grudges, legal pressure, or a misunderstanding, it challenges the idea that loyalty is always guaranteed in the entertainment world. This underscores the reality that public figures, however glamorous their images, are not immune to the complexities of everyday life. They face potential pitfalls in business, friendships, and family matters, just like anyone else. The main difference is the scale of visibility. When Rihanna feels wronged, or when Rocky struggles with legal obstacles, millions of people notice, and countless more speculate.